Is this thing on?
Hello, hello, y'all.
Hey everyone.
Welcome back to the recap room.
Another week. Meet us on down in the
Yes.
recap room, y'all.
This is episode 13.
Yes, season 16, episode 13.
All right.
How was your day?
My day was pretty good. Family things, just preparing my mind, body, and spirit for the summer because I plan on being outside in nature now.
Okay.
How was your week?
My week was good. It was hectic, but it was good. Felt like I had to do 10 million things in 30 minutes, but we're here. So thank God for that, right?
Yes.
All right, let's get into this episode. I don't know. There's so much happened. I can't even I'm overstimulated already.
Oh my goodness. Well, the ladies are going to Grenada, so this episode was the reset. But we start with the ladies pulling up to Shamia to give...
What is it? Sterling Hall.
Sterling Hall, excuse me. I was gonna... It was gonna be an insult to call it Chateau Shamia, but
Chateau she can't pay.
but we gonna call it what it is, and that's Sterling Hall.
Sterling Hall. Thank you.
We see Cheekbones, Chicken and Waffles, Pampered by Portia was able to donate, but Bare Naked
was bare naked.
Came with 3 rolls of toilet paper.
Yeah.
And you could tell she was squirming, saying...
Oh, I'm going to have someone bring the rest of it. I couldn't carry the rest back here.
No, sis, it's when you pulled up and you saw the loads that everybody else brought. Yeah.
Britt, what's going on?
Well, she just started this company, so let's give her a little bit of grace.
Yeah, we got to collect a couple coins first.
Yeah,
so
and then we can make big
that.
donations. Yeah.
Well, I was glad to see... Shamia donated half the house, didn't she? I mean, her whole garage was full of boxes. And I love that she was teaching her daughter the value of, paying it forward or giving back, even though they are abundantly blessed.
Yes.
I thought that was a good lesson. And I just like seeing her and her mom bag a little bit. I feel like we didn't get to see that much. So I loved seeing her do that with her daughter. And then as far as Brit in the box...
Well, Britt said it was last minute.
Well, and she could do what Cynthia did: get in your car, pick a store, grab a cart, and fill it up with a bunch of million things.
Maybe she got the handbasket at the front door.
3 boxes of tissue. You could even call one of the people to assist you.
Now listen, I don't know.
Instacart,
Okay.
DoorDash. But I'm gonna give her benefit of the doubt. Maybe it really was just a super last minute thing, but I kind of find it kind of hard to believe a little bit. Britt, come on, girl.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? I actually, and this is the last thing I'll say, I kind of do want Britt to win a little bit. I feel like a lot of things have not been going in her favor this season. So it would be good to see her have some type of positive moment. I don't know. Everything's been kind of negative for her this season. So, yeah, that's that.
I hope she can turn it around.
Me too.
She's just not winning lately.
Unfortunately.
And then we see Portia and Drew have a sit down.
Ooh wee.
Oh my.
This is my Super Bowl, honey. My Super Bowl. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think you go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm glad that they finally at least had a sit down to kind of discuss their issues. Because it was a long time coming. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Drew knows that she was wrong for inviting, filming with Dennis. But at the same time, I keep going back to what was Drew's motive for working with Dennis in the first place? All this is unraveled because now we're having tit for tat.
Can I be honest with you? I just feel like Portia is gaslighting Drew.
She
know what I'm saying?
is.
I feel like there was never any intention between Drew and Dennis working besides actual business.
Exactly.
As much as I don't feel like Dennis has a place in music, obviously, you know what I'm saying, maybe that's something he wants to get into, or maybe he does have some background in music. So maybe she did want to give him a chance. I don't feel like there's anything romantical between, you know what I'm saying, Drew and Dennis. I just don't. And Portia is dragging this thing with Drew. And, for me, it's kind of just you know, as much as Drew lies, I just don't feel like she would lie about something like that, especially when she had a friendship with Portia, cared enough to, be a part of Portia's hair brand and being in back. Like, it just feels kind of crazy. Like, Portia, please.
And after I listened to that album,
Okay, let's hear it. Well, okay, small commercial break. I did not listen to the album last week. I'm sorry.
Aw.
I will report back next week. Okay, no, go ahead.
after listening to that album, I really do feel like Drew, that was a way of Drew getting Dennis a coin, because outside of this divorce, Portia ain't got nothing going on, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know how her coins are sitting, but she said, why not bring your baby's father? And what she said, it was shady, but it was true. Drew's resume run long.
She has the credentials. We got to give her that.
She was pre-housewife.
We have to give her that.
She has the connections. And I honestly just feel like it was like, okay, come over here. You say you're a producer. Let's see what you're working with, you know? So, and outside of that, I don't feel like nothing else was going on. But because Portia felt some type of way, of course, she has a leash on. Let me not say leash. She has a leash on Dennis, and he's going to do what Portia says to do, and stopped him from a bag.
Well,
so he had to create something.
He had to do something.
He said, I'm going to be on TV and I'm going to get a check regardless this season.
And you know what? I can't even be mad. Like Drew said, maybe this can contribute to a couple snacks or something. I don't know. But I just feel like it's ridiculous for Portia to keep beating a dead horse about, you're filming with my baby daddy. Okay, girl. And even then now, you got your get back because you were on camera with Ralph, which she claims. You know what? Portia might just be the resident liar this season. Because she tried to claim, she was like, I was meeting with Shamia and she just happened to be with Ralph. Okay. Bye. Something like, I don't know. I just feel like Portia is gaslighting Drew. This is a deflection from something. And then they get into the whole okay. What I lived for was when Drew turned the table.
She laid down their reverse Uno card on her, yeah.
Thank you, Drew. Because my thing is, Drew gave Portia chances to do it the right way. Let's have a conversation. Let's do it privately. Let's not get nasty. Let's not da-da-da. And then Portia Portia kept picking, and Drew had to pull the Uno reverse out and gave her that. And then what did Portia do? Same thing she did with Shamia. When it got to be too much, Drew, please, let's just, doing all of that. And then it's a get up and walk out. And I'm kind of like, she can't never handle the heat. But you always want to serve, you know what I'm saying? Somebody else, it's ridiculous.
And it seems as if Drew and Dennis have kind of squashed the rumors.
Yes.
And Portia is still carrying that and bringing Dennis into it. But I feel that when she brought up the rumors about her and her friend Black, I guess someone that Dennis and Drew were working with,
yes,
and tried to say that she was sleeping with him. Well, if you're not sleeping with my baby daddy,
hello,
you're sleeping with that man. Drew's not giving them what they want. Drew holds center peach for me this season.
Really?
Drew is becoming my favorite. Okay. I thought it was going to be Angela. Angela was, she was chugging along.
I am a limb off the oak tree. Now that I am.
But Drew Sidora, she is playing the game right. And it's so crazy. Like I said last episode, whatever Drew says now, for some reason, I just kind of am believing it. I don't know if she's just fully telling the whole truth.
Yeah.
But she's just saying with so much assertiveness.
No, for sure.
And you can tell because by the end of the conversation, she flipped it on her. Mm-hmm. She said, okay, well, if that's true, then let's talk about you and, who was it, Future?
They
bleeped it out. The name. But see, in the previews.
I didn't read the lips.
I've heard it before.
Okay.
Bravo has posted it somewhere to where we know she says Future.
Okay.
Now,
Future, like the rapper?
That's what... And I'm trying to figure out, is Black black?
Well,
Because if that's the case, it just seems like, oh, y'all messing with some high
Okay, I was gonna say
profile
that's tea for me.
entertainment.
All
Okay.
right, let's get into it.
But
Well,
I feel
listen,
like they bleeped out Future's name allegedly now. Allegedly. Because we
allegedly,
don't know. But I feel like they bleeped out his name just because Drew really just threw that out there. Because
probably
it was just a rumor that has been thrown out there in the media.
before.
And Portia was shaking in her boots because she knows the impact the show has, and that once you say it on the show, it gets pushed out further into the universe, and
Yeah.
everybody is going to run with that rumor.
Well,
So she said, "Okay, well, let's
if we're gonna pull cards, let's pull it.
yeah, you
I
and
ain't
Bleak
mad at
Bleak,
her.
yeah."
I ain't mad at Drew. Thank you, Drew, for finally showing up and serving her notice.
What does Portia do?
Stumbles,
It
gets up and walks
exit to
out.
the
You
left.
know, it's sad though. It really is.
That's why Drew is holding Center Peach for me this season,
Okay.
because she's not backing down, and they really need to back up off Drew.
She might be like fifth peach to me, but you know, I'm just like, she might be. No, in all seriousness, Drew actually might be like third peach.
Okay.
I would say Angela, Kelly, and then Drew.
I-
Mm,
Okay.
yeah, Drew. Because I was gonna say Shamia, but their whole I'm kind of tired of that. So yeah, Drew gets like third peach for me. But
Yeah.
yeah, so then we get into
The ladies are preparing for Grenada.
yes, and I want to stop at Kelly when she talks in the kitchen or when she talks to her daughters and she's
Oh,
packing for
yes.
Grenada, and then she goes to the kitchen and she talks to quote unquote Uncle Lamont, which is her publicist slash family friend. And he decides to basically download her on a conversation, on a FaceTime call that he had with Kelly's ex-husband, or soon-to-be ex-husband, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like I don't understand what was the purpose of that conversation, because I feel like if we already knew it was bad enough, Kelly has already described in detail like how bad it was. So then you want to come on camera and then divulge the information of a FaceTime call that was just even more negative. Like, you all need to make up. You all need to figure out how to be there together for the kids. You need to da da da. And the Mark is like, no, hell no, I'm not doing it. So it's kind of just like, how is that helping? Like, I feel like that just crushed her even more. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I
I
mean, I guess
agree.
it's a real thing. It's a reality TV, so you have to discuss it. But I don't know. Something about that just felt kind of grungy to me.
I agree. This was a lesson, y'all. This is a lesson. Be careful who you have children with. And not to say that that was Kelly's case, but I
Yeah.
think at the same time, that's the takeaway. And also, if that is you,
Hmm.
it does get better.
Oh, for sure.
You know, um, Kelly gets cool points from me.
Oh,
You know,
100%.
she doesn't take a day off. She's got 4 girls. And,
I'm sure she's tired,
oh, yes, of
but
course.
she definitely shows up for the girls. Just
And
like when she got the older daughter. What she get her like 15 a designer bag for every year she's alive. I
oh
was
my
like,
God, I would
coin,
love to have a beautiful
money
collection.
long.
I
I
know.
live for that. No, seriously, that was tea.
Um,
So we're rooting for you, Kelly. I hope everything goes well. And if you hear this, and if you just heard me randomly on the interwebs, you are a great mother.
yes,
So
fantastic.
don't let Mark
mother.
bring you down, boo.
Well, Shamia packs her Bible. Angela is trying to sell this home so she can buy her ticket to Grenada.
You are so stupid.
Because
I can't.
oh, Angela, I'm so sorry for
And
you.
no,
hun.
no shade. I've never seen my sister stressed, but that scene, honey, she was stressed down. Like she was about to cry. Angela, I'm with you when you're right, honey. You got to sell one of them. Right?
Then the ladies, they arrive to the airport. They are on their way to Grenada. Phaedra meets Angela for the first time. And I remember what you said last time.
Which it?
I wanted Phaedra to kind of soften up for the new girls, for the
Yeah.
ladies, but that's not her role.
She's doing the opposite.
That's not her role. And she's doing it so well. She said that Angela is the oldest looking young person she's ever met.
Yes.
And I was like,
And hopefully her personality is more youthful than her face. Mind you, this is the first time they're actually meeting in person. And then they show this whole scene kind of just showed the contrast and like housewife potential between the both of them for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Angela obviously has housewife energy. You know what I'm saying? She
Mm-hmm.
decided that, or she said that she wanted to actually give Phaedra a chance to, like, basically get to learn her
Mm-hmm.
and
She's peep
experience
game.
her. What is it?
She's peep game.
No, for sure.
We
And
all
she
know
she
what
she
Phaedra's
said she's
done.
definitely heard of her past,
Mm-hmm.
but she wanted to kind of put that on pause so she could gauge her own type of experience of Phaedra, which I think is fair. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
She's a returning peach. We all know her past history. Maybe she's a different woman this time around. Let's give her a fair chance.
But Phaedra,
Phaedra's automatic response is to be shady, and which lets me know that there was no growth development from the last time she left. And I believe I stated last episode that I was excited to see Phaedra and Portia. Da da da. Strike my words. Take those out of the record. I'm actually already over Phaedra, and this is only the first part of the episode
oh
that she's in.
wow.
I'm so sorry.
Well, you know
I
what?
feel like that is just so weak to me.
I said, okay, well, hold on, Phaedra. Now, just because you done got some nip and tuck and got some things pulled back and
Hello.
some things lifted, because when we first met you, you was the oldest looking young person we've ever seen.
Hello.
Okay, and you got this new wig. We'll let you have it.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Miss
tread
Donkey
lightly
Booty.
now, because you don't know who Miss Angela Oakley is. And I can't wait for you to find out.
Well, and that's my thing. Like, she gave you a chance, but if you want to take it there with her, we know how she gets down. So if they just gonna learn quick, that's all right.
Mm.
And I guess just for me, it kind of gets on my nerves because it's like Phaedra has such an iconic reputation on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I think there at one point she was like undeniably like a staple peach holder.
Mm-hmm.
And then to see you like leave the show in such a negative space with the whole Candy and Portia, whatever, and then you go, and that's a negative aspect, and then you go to Married to Medicine, and you go over there, and then you're so negative over there that they don't even want to fool with, they don't even want to acknowledge you, and then you leave there in a negative aspect, and then you come back to Housewives, and your first introduction is to be a negative it's like, girl, okay.
And you're talking about Charles, or you're insinuating that Charles is stepping out on Angela. You couldn't do that mess over there at Married to Medicine.
Hello.
Because everybody over there is married. Well, Quad isn't, but she was
Not to
married
be
to
fair.
Medicine. So now that you're over here and you can play with the girls,
Yeah.
people going through the divorce, you can team up with the divorcees.
And I just feel bamboozled. Like, when we first met Phaedra, she was like so Southern Belle energy, like real, down to be housewife. And then it's like,
hot girl.
yeah, now all of a sudden your whole disposition and everything has just changed. So I'm kind of like, well, which one was it? Like, were you like playing housewife to try to kind of, fit the image to be on the show? Or, did you really just have some type of like awakening, your hot girl awakening, and now all of a sudden you're like Miss Outside, Miss Rent a Boyfriend?
You
like,
are not worried about the sanctity of marriage at all now.
Because even though she was real Southern Belle, Apollo wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Apollo was down in the gutter ratchet with, like, with the mess. So it's kind of like, I don't know.
We see you.
But yeah, Phaedra, yeah, girl.
Then Shamia's luggage gets left in ATL.
Yes.
On the way to the resort, Phaedra throws shade at Drew. Now, back to these back-to-back shots, Phaedra knows how this works. She can get by with saying what she wants in the confessional, and waiting until the reunion to
attack.
Have her pre-rehearsed reads. I'm kind of waiting to see what she has to bring to the reunion.
I do too. She knows better than to stay in their presence. Because, honey, Miss Angela and her vacation braids would have snatched Phaedra up.
And I said, the way she was throwing shade at Drew, like I said before, Drew was pre-housewife. Now, that is somebody I can say was pre-housewife.
For sure.
So,
a name before housewife, yes.
Don't act so far removed from the culture, Miss Ma'am, Miss Southern Belle, that you don't know who Drew is. See, that's why.
Phaedra knows who everyone is. She's just trying to have this like superior complex, and it's really giving cornball to me.
Because you up there rubbing shoulders with producers and going over to traders and other shows, okay?
And none of those were lasting effects.
Slow your
If you want
roll,
to be
Miss
honest,
Parks. Slow your roll now.
girl.
Uh, Let me see. Portia and then we find out who the roommates were. They arrived to the resort. It's a beautiful scene. They arrive to the resort. They're welcomed by men on stilts. They getting hot, housewives fashion. They need to figure out who's rooming with who.
Mm-hmm.
Portia's not too big on sharing a room because you just need a whole room by yourself, Miss Ma'am.
She does have a lot of butt. Well, yes.
That's true. That's true. And Angela does need places to spread out because she got that.
She gets hot at night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's very tall. Big bird.
She is a tall.
as they call her.
I
No,
forgot about Big
I love
Bird,
you,
okay.
Angela. I love you, Angela. I love how you took on that name
Oh, she
too.
ended up at the next event wore yellow. Clock it. I gotta give her that. She ate that. She ate that. See, this center peach.
Yes.
Center peach.
Yes. Portia and Angela are roommates. Phaedra and Britt are roommates. Drew and Cynthia are roommates. Now,
I like those room assignments.
You did?
I do.
Why do they keep coming for? I guess it just happened that they picked that number or couple or however they did it. But Drew ended up getting the twin beds again.
Well, and that's to Drew's fault. Let's keep it honest, because she technically she won the queen room by the arm wrestle. But then when they got to the villa or whatever it was, she ended up forfeiting her queen bed to Cynthia, to pay respect. And she did get stuck with the twin beds. But Drew was little anyway, and Cynthia is a taller girl, so that just made more sense to me. I like the room assignments though. Portia, Angela said that she was glad to be with Portia. And she's only glad to be with Portia because Charles is safe at home. That was I live for that. That was funny.
Angela, I
can't.
I think every time Angela says something, we always have to bring it up because her reads are so seamless and quick.
And they're just funny. They actually make me laugh.
Hit different.
They always land. I can't. She's just, I don't know. And then who else? Britt, Phaedra.
Now,
which, yes, that's the shady bunch. That's the.
What I notice about Phaedra is that she knows who to come for.
Oh, for sure.
Now, she's giving Britt way too much leeway.
And Britt might even pop out and surprise you sometimes. Britt she's had a couple reads that have been a little, you know what I'm saying, tugged a couple wigs.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm glad that Drew roomed with Cynthia, because I feel like Drew needs a little TLC, a little therapy moment, because honestly, she is going through a lot. A full divorce. Ralph is dragging her through the mud.
Mm-hmm.
Portia, Shamia won't let it go. So yes, Cynthia needs to be her fairy godmother of the trip.
And then as they're getting ready for the dinner, Drew and Cynthia talk about her having the conversation with Portia, and then it switches over to Shamia talking to Kelly and says that Drew had made a post shading Shamia and Portia. Drew's playing the game, right? And she's honestly just kind of like, okay, girl, it's over now. Lapdog, are you going to keep bringing this up? The more you give into it, the more you're showing us, sorry, Shamia, I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
That you are a lapdog. You're loyal. Let's just say it, call it what it is. You're loyal to...
To
Portia. You're
Thank you.
Very loyal to Portia, to where if she wanted you to jump in her lap, you would do that. But anyway.
We did get a sneak peek into Cynthia's love life, which I thought was fun. Where she talked about her little Amsterdam. Did you see that part?
I did.
I did. Little Amsterdam.
I'm happy for her. It's cute. She's living her best
And
life.
she
You know, her
should.
kids are grown, so
Younger.
it
I know
would.
that's right. Cynthia, go younger. Honey, go
And tall.
younger.
She said tall, and I said, "Oh yeah, that's for
I
you."
think based on the picture they covered his face, but he had locks,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of surprises me. I would have never. I feel like Cynthia loves like a little clean cut dude. Which I
Yeah.
mean, locks isn't like not clean cut,
Hold on
but
now.
no, I know how you
No,
get down.
no, no. For
You
real,
you
it
got
does
on-
need to be
no.
retwist on Thursday.
You are so stupid. But I've never seen her with anyone like remotely close to that kind of look. So I thought that was kind of fun that she's like stepping out of her comfort zone, you know?
Mm-hmm. Phaedra, stick with your toys, sis. Leave these young men alone.
Yeah.
Don't play with
Phaedra,
them.
I don't. She's kind of getting the Portia effect to me. Like something about her just is not serving me this season. Like it feels like a waste of space. Like we could have brought someone else, another new peach holder. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Who could have brought, or maybe even like, God forbid, maybe Marlo.
Yeah.
Somebody who could do more. Well, no, Marlo can't bring much either, child. No shade. Anyone else?
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I'll take your Yavana back at this point.
Yeah.
Just somebody who's just gonna give something. Phaedra's just not giving. Which I feel like to Phaedra, not to her defense, but in that realm of the whole like throw rocks, hide your hands type of situation, I feel like that's the kind of role that she has to be set on default now, based after the whole Candy, Portia, whatever situation. Because it's like, and then what she say now, I'm the daggone villain, and ever since then, she's been the villain. So it's kind of like by default, she kind of has to play in that role. I think for me, it's okay to change.
Yeah.
Like Portia, to a certain extent, has changed. We still kind of see residuals, but you can tell that she's kind of try to change the tide a little bit. But Phaedra just like doesn't want to move back, and I don't know what that's about. So, and then they have the dinner. Just fast forward to the meat potato. They have the dinner, and they start having Kelly. Okay, there's a lot that happened. Kelly decides that she wants to basically go over like the purpose of the trip again, the whole reset, refresh, whatever. And then she basically goes into like, okay, well, on that account, let's go ahead and lay everything on the table. And I'm kind of like, oh my God. They said they're leaving stuff in Atlanta, but then you bring it to Grenada. And then the first dinner you have, which I guess go ahead and get it out the way for the rest of the trip. I don't know. So then she basically gets into the whole, who was first? Shamia? No.
It was
Drew and Portia.
Yeah, Drew and Portia.
That to me was beating a dead horse once again. Like they already had a private conversation. Portia didn't really care to go through the whole thing with Drew, so it's a moot point. I'm kind of with Drew. Like
Cynthia said, you filmed with her baby's father, and now the other,
did the same thing.
Did the same thing. So now y'all are
equal.
even.
It's an equal playing field.
Y'all are done. But Portia, oh gosh.
It's like, my thing is, I know Drew doesn't have to. But a part of me kind of just wish that like she would just go ahead and just, not say I'm sorry, but just not even really entertain it anymore. Because my thing, you've already discussed it. You and Dennis have not. So it's like every time y'all do this and you give her an inch, she's going to play the victim role and she's going to take it all the way to the moon. If I was you, I would just be like, I'm not discussing this. And then they can say whatever they want and we can move on. Yeah, it's kind of just like, it's beating a dead horse.
Dennis and Portia are always going to be united against Drew. And Drew's husband is not on her side. So, of course, she's going to stand 10 toes down on truth.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to that. Now, all the other stuff, Drew may be lying. Drew be lying, maybe.
Well, yes.
But, I don't...
But I don't think she's lying about that. I just don't. And then so Kelly decides that she wants to get into... well, no, I'm sorry. I want to go back to Portia and Drew real quick. Because Portia made a comment that I had wrote down. And she said that she had wished that the girls had gave her the opportunity to be asked the same questions that they asked Drew or whatever, or
Shamia.
who was it? Shamia, yes. Oh, okay. No, that's a different thing then. Hold on. I'm sorry. Go
Hmm.
back. Whatever. What was I saying?
Well, then they start talking about
Yes, about Portia
Portia.
and Shamia.
Yeah,
That's what it is. I'm
and
sorry.
Kelly brought it up.
Yes, and Kelly brought that up. That to me was just also stupid.
Um, yeah, because when she said, why didn't y'all ask the same questions that y'all were asking Shamia? So Kelly asked her, how is y'all's friendship?
Yeah.
Because you want us to ask you. And she's like, we're good.
Well, now it's too late
Yeah.
because we've already had our own conversation. I said prior to. So it's just like the communication is not in the room, and it's getting on my nerves because it's like, Portia, like, when people are trying to give you a chance to hear you out, you're not showing up, and this is your chance to speak against everything that everyone is saying, and for you to have the floor and to speak. And when you finally get the floor, you're not showing up.
And Shamia, once again, you're letting Portia have a pass because in that same scene, you're saying, oh, well, it's big of her to say that, we talked about it already and that's not for them. But yet,
It was addressed as a public issue. Therefore, there should be some type of public, maybe mutual agreement. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
That whatever we said, whatever, and we mutually agreed. Da da da. They're not even giving that. Like it's just.
Because you could tell by the way Angela and Kelly were looking at Shamia like, come on, girl, this was your time. This was your moment to let Portia know how you really feel. And and the way I see it playing in my head, if Shamia had voiced her opinion about how she felt about Portia,
Yeah.
I'm sure Kelly would have backed her up because she was already getting to that point. She was
Yeah.
wanting, all she was wanting was Shamia to say it, and she would have had her back.
And
And I'm
Angela
sure
set it up
Angela
that way too.
exactly.
When she said, all we're saying is, I understand that it's a private issue between you all, but Shamia came to us
Hmm.
to basically have a conversation about her relationship status with you. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? We didn't go to her and ask her, well, what's going on to you? She came to us. So all I'm saying is she made a public issue by coming to us, saying whatever she said. So all we're saying is, in this public space, in this public forum, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Go ahead and set the record straight.
Yeah.
You know, kill the curiosity kills the cat. Go ahead and do whatever you got to do, and let's move on. But when y'all both do the well, we're not gonna or da da da, then it leads up to speculation. Well, maybe they just saying that just because whatever. I don't know. It just feels kind of bratty to me. Like you know,
Yeah. And then Kelly says, well, I guess this was before we didn't mention that Kelly was like, Drew, you have an issue with everybody,
at
almost
the
everybody at
table.
the table, and that's why I said y'all need to back up off Drew.
Well, yeah.
You think?
No, I definitely agree. I feel like Kelly, whatever her disdain is with Drew, she used this dinner as like a public space to basically be like an attack on Drew,
Well, see, now I
which I
feel
felt was so wrong.
Kelly is being what Shamia is to Portia now,
Yes,
because that had nothing to do with you.
at
You and
all.
Drew have no beef at all.
I at all.
Shamia and Drew don't even really have a beef.
They really don't. They really actually don't. They really don't.
I'm like, okay, Kelly, hold on now.
Um, and to be honest, again, I'm not saying Drew has to be the bigger person, but I kind of do wish that she would just like, you know, maybe admit that she was wrong with the whole lapdog comment, just for the sake of allowing Shamia to shut up about it. I feel like every time
Yeah.
they get together, they address this dang on lapdog comment, and Shamia is just hell bent on the fact that Drew is calling her a lapdog. My thing is, like I said in the last episode, everyone insinuated the lapdog. Drew was the only one ballsy enough to actually say it to
Mm-hmm.
you.
Yep.
So I feel like, just for Drew, girl, just be like, you know what? Okay, yes, I called you a lapdog. Did I mean it? Maybe, but you know what? If it offended you, if it hurt you, if you did it, I apologize. You know what I'm saying? And then just
Mm-hmm.
move on. Like, Shamia's not gonna let it go. She's just not. And I, for the life of me, can't understand why. Because if you're not a lapdog, why are you so bent on this girl calling you a lapdog?
That's what I'm saying.
People can say something about me all day, but
It's
if
only what
I
you
know what you're saying
respond
isn't
to.
true,
Hmm.
why do I care to respond or to uphold whatever you got to say against me? That only makes me look more guilty.
Exactly.
Uh-oh. Like, come on, Shamia.
Oh, but
So that was just stupid.
then we see Brit.
Yes.
Brit, sister girl. She brings up, she says, sorry. I just want to say, I just want to
Shut
say
up.
to Phaedra that I invited your ex-husband and his wife to my event. And I'm
I
like,
hate that you sound just like her. That makes me so sick.
and I'm like,
I can't.
what does it have to do with anything? But I said
I hate that you sound just like her.
it must have been on her mind because she was trying to get in front of it. They room together.
Yes.
So I feel that if anything were to go down, Phaedra was going to use that against her because she has said nothing but good things about Britt so far.
Did
She was
she?
like, she seems like a fun time. And, she didn't
On
give,
this trip, yes.
yeah, she didn't give Britt too much.
In the initial meetup with her and Portia, she said that Britt was a lady of the night. But,
Oh,
we won't get into that.
she did.
She did. She said she's a lady of the town.
Well, you should have just stood 10 toes down on bringing Apollo and should have made sure he was sitting at that table with him.
No. I've had enough of Apollo.
Dougie said no
I've
more.
had enough of Shireen, whatever that girl's name is. I honestly had enough of Phaedra, and she just got here 5 minutes ago. Away with all three of them.
Away with this boo.
Okay. Away with all three of them. And Britt bringing that up was literally the most random
And
thing
cringy.
I've ever heard. Like, girl, what was that about?
Like I said, I just think she tried to get it in front of it before Phaedra got wind of it.
I guess.
But
But
you got more stuff to worry about, Britt. I just see
I
it
just
coming.
saw a bunch of question marks. Like, everybody had question marks around their head and was like, girl, what are we and this is Shamia was like, girl, give me the crystal. You just saying
And
stuff like...
they didn't even show up to the party. That's the thing. So I said no harm was done. What are you trying to...
I guess just in case he decided he wanted to, tell... I don't know.
I guess.
It was random to me. So,
I guess.
yeah, this episode was definitely a weird one. I kind of feel like we're at the part of like I said last week, we're at the part of the season where it's just like that whole scene with Shamia and Marlo. I was like, that's all I've heard the last 3 episodes, and it's kind of wearing me out a bit. I'm kind of like, I mean, it's good entertainment. It's good for TV.
Mm-hmm.
But it also is like repetitive battles.
But it was a great episode. I can't wait to see, Kelly, if she is dating, what's all out there. Because the daughter clocked it. She said, now, what's out in Grenada?
She knows something's up.
So I can't wait to see, I'm tired of y'all pulling all these men from Africa. Let's see what Grenada got to offer.
Hopefully something good.
Yeah. And
Portia's trying to get with the chef, child.
Portia.
Let me get a lamb chop, please.
Well, all right, y'all.
Another week down. We'll see you all
Yes.
next week.
See you all. Bye.
Bye.